What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep, screw, rep.
Yeah!
Woo! Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable!
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty! I said WWE stands for! It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Hey, look, are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 every single time they come out with a new wrestling video game? Stop immediately. Go over to Wrestler Unstoppable, available now totally free to all Facebook users. app.wrestlerunstoppable.com, which, by the way, is now free to everybody. I guess you don't have to be Facebook anymore. Pop in, look for Odin Maximus. That's my avatar. I'll be happy to add you as a buddy and help you out any way I can. Hey, look, if you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, you want your name in the shoutouts like my good buddy John down in Texas, then you got to pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. Loyalty rewards. If you're a $15 a month contributor, you can co-host a show with me. $7.50 a month, I'll enter you into a drawing to also co-host with myself. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, you've got comments, something you want me to touch on in the future episode, pop over to the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line 267-642-1160, and I will get to those questions, comments, or concerns in a future episode. Today, jumping in with the WWE and their perception of LA Knight versus their perception of Jey Uso. Topic of discussion across multiple platforms this week. What Culture, WrestleZone, F4W, everybody talking about the fact that WWE believes that Jey Uso is a more talented in-ring worker than LA Knight, and the theory is that because of a lot of the botched moves and errors that LA Knight has had in his matches, that for some reason that validates that perspective. And I'm here to tell you that I completely disagree. One, let me be clear, I am not taking anything away from Jey Uso. Jey Uso has gotten over so organically with the fan base. He's so popular, it's ridiculous. I have no problem with Jey Uso earning his flowers and being a part of the main event scene. I think that's absolutely warranted. My issue is this. Take a look at the matches that Jey Uso performs in and take a look and see what happens. Jey Uso's matches are full of punches, super kicks, splashes off the turnbuckle. Every single item that we're talking about is a relatively basic move. You don't see a lot of really innovative stuff coming from Jey Uso. When you talk about LA Knight, take a look at some of the botches. His jumping from the middle to top turnbuckle to drop the elbow. The jumping up into the turnbuckles to flip somebody off the corner. These are much more athletic moves, much stronger skill set, and, frankly, much more prone to having a botch or an error. Now, what do? Do you program those moves out of his matches so you don't have those errors and make him, quote-unquote, more coachable, like some people are claiming that Jey Uso may be? Is Jey Uso more coachable, or are his moveset a safer moveset so there's not as many opportunities for the botches? Let's be honest. A year ago, people were talking about whether or not Jey Uso was gassed out in all of his matches. So if Jey Uso was getting gassed out so bad a year ago that people were talking about moving him out of the main event scene because he wasn't able to hang with people like Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and people of that nature, then how do we suddenly code switch to LA Knight, who, by the way, LA Knight got over organically with the crowd and was on the rocket by himself to the top, and they force-fed a championship match with Roman Reigns in Saudi, which totally destroyed his momentum. Had they never sped that program up, forced him to do that to make the Saudis happy, who knows where LA Knight would be right now? Instead, he got pigeonholed after that match into like an upper mid-card thing for so long. We haven't really seen LA Knight in a main program. And let's be honest, look, if you don't want to put him over Roman Reigns, that's fine. There is no reason somebody like LA Knight couldn't be in the picture to be the guy to have dethroned Gunther, to be a guy to go one-on-one with CM Punk, to be a guy who could wrestle with Cody Rhodes. There's no reason, if you're that worried about protecting the bloodline and Jey Uso and Roman Reigns and people like that, Jacob Fatu. So I don't see why, when you consider all those factors, you would think Jey Uso is a more talented in-ring worker than LA Knight. I think he is a safer worker because of the moveset that has been put in place for him, but I don't necessarily think that he is a better worker. That's something that's totally subjective. I'm going to hold to my opinion. Obviously, you have yours. If you have a comment, please put it down below. I would love to hear from you, see what you have to say about that. Moving over to TNA Wrestling, breaking news today. Tommy Dreamer announced on Busted Open Radio that he has decided with Carlos Silva to mutually part ways amicably from TNA Wrestling. He is no longer the head of the creative department there. The short-term solution is Delirious, who's been assisting with creative, is going to apparently take over short-term. There is already conversation about former WWE writer Road Dogg coming in and becoming the guy who takes over creative. That's purely speculative at this point, but huge news seeing the Tommy Dreamer leaving that position he's been in for quite a long time. Some people, especially, it's been noted that talent were frustrated, many of them, with the creative direction of the company the last year or two, that they don't feel like it was growing at the rate necessary, certainly since the move to AMC. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. You had a lot of talent that was leaving the company. People could say that they were leaving because of the creative. I think they were leaving because of the money. I don't think Joe Hendry was getting bad booking. I think his programs were just fine in TNA. But let's be honest, TNA money is not WWE money. When you see other talents like Ace Austin and people like that going to AEW or the Rascals, that's not just because they didn't want to be in TNA. It's because there's a money factor involved, and AEW pays better than TNA does. So to assume that everything falls on Tommy Dreamer's creative as to why people were leaving and things like that, and then use that as almost like a scapegoat for a reason to get rid of the guy, I don't necessarily agree with that. Now, I'm not telling you shouldn't have moved on from Tommy Dreamer. Maybe they should have. I don't know. I don't see where the Road Dogg coming in is going to drastically change the product. But if that's what TNA believes, and if they feel like they needed to shake something up and this is how they're going to do it, then so be it. Now, where does Tommy Dreamer go from here? Now, look, at this stage of his career, maybe he wants to take a step back. Maybe he wants to do a GCW thing, a Maple Leaf Pro, because he really appreciated Scott D'Amore. Does he want to come into WWE and work in AAA? Does he want to try to do something as an agent in the main roster or in NXT? I don't know. Does he want to go to AEW and try to help Tony Khan in some way, shape, or form, who's been very open to having really innovative, no pun intended for the innovator of violence, but very innovative people come in and offer suggestions and guidance and mentoring to his younger talent? I don't know. But Tommy Dreamer obviously has a lot left to give to the business. I hope he finds something amazing to land on his feet and be a part of the business going forward. And I hope that this does, if anything else, gives Road Dogg a way to get back into the business, because I also think he's an incredibly creative guy who had so much, it seemed like, at least from WWE Unreal, to say about people like Chelsea Green and stuff like that, where I think he had a different view of talent sometimes than maybe Triple H does. And right now, with everybody having such an issue with the repetitive booking of WWE, maybe Road Dogg, the reason he's gone is because he saw that too. And maybe he was critical of that. I don't know. I wasn't in the room. It's purely speculative. Moving on from there, in TNA news also, it was announced the other day that Tessa Blanchard has negotiated her release from TNA Wrestling. The word came out last week that there was some conflict of interest and some heat on Tessa for taking a booking with CMLL, a place where ever since the accusations, allegations, whatever you want to call it, about her somewhat racist comments in, I believe it was Japan, some of the things she said while working in a show in Mexico, some other things that have come up throughout the last couple years. Let's be quite honest, since the pandemic, prior to the pandemic, I mean, she was TNA World Champion. She beat Brian Cage and Sami Callihan. She was really looking like she was going to be something special in this business. Probably WWE or AEW bound. If you remember, she won like the women's 4-way at the original All In. And that never came to fruition. And it didn't come to fruition because there were allegations about her being racist, being a bully in the back and things like that. Things that were corroborated by people like Chelsea Green, who, no matter what you think of her on-screen character, Chelsea Green has a phenomenal reputation for being a quality human being, a great person. So I would tend to lean towards believing her perspective on things. I do know, look, I'm just going to be fair. I've seen statements and comments from Tessa Blanchard where she has apologized and been very remorseful about things that she may or may not have said in the past. Some people believe that she has not been remorseful enough. That is not for me to decide. I was not one of the parties that was offending somebody else, and I was certainly not one of the people who was being offended. So I don't have the right to say anything either way. All I'm stating is I have seen that. Whether it's enough to atone for what she said or did, I don't know. That's up to the general public to decide. But it plays into what we're talking about right now, which is her leaving TNA because she basically couldn't get any other jobs in North America, and TNA came calling and they brought her back. She's been spending the rest of her time in CMLL for years, since the pandemic really, and they book her more frequently. And it sounds as though, we don't have confirmed reports, but it sounds as though that CMLL was the one who was kind of pushing the letter and saying, listen, you need to pick a side. You're either CMLL or you're TNA. And CMLL, being that they do book her more frequently, seemed like they were going to be the ones that she was going to side with. And look, if you go and see the CMLL shows, they're drawing 10 to 15,000 people every single week for their programming. So it does not surprise me that she would choose them as her option. Look, I hope she has atoned for everything she's done. I hope she genuinely feels bad if she did anything for whatever she did do. I hope that the parties who were privy to being offended when it happened feel like they have received justice in some way, shape, or form. I hope that they have had the opportunity for her to try to make amends to them on a personal level. I have no idea if that's true or not. I hope that's the case, though, because you would hope that somebody would do that. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait and see what happens for Tessa Blanchard over time, because she's running out of options. I mean, this is a young lady who really should have been having a rocket ship strapped to her in WWE at some point and really been one of, you know, you talk about the 4 horsewomen of WWE. She could have been on that level. She could have been in the ring with Charlotte Flair. Think about a Charlotte Flair, Tessa Blanchard tag team, an old school horseman field of things. That could have happened. And she let these personal demons, so to speak, get in the way of intelligent decision making. So we'll have to wait and see how things plan out. And one other lady who's in the news, Rhea Ripley, who is injured at the moment. We don't know how severe, but there is a story from Wrestle Talk yesterday came out saying that there's a possibility. Actually, I apologize. I believe that it was What Culture Wrestling that stated that she would probably be out until SummerSlam, which is like 6 weeks away. That's a significant injury, and that it could significantly impact the plans for SummerSlam. We could be seeing Charlotte Flair taking on Jade Cargill instead. What do we do with the championship if that's the case? Does Liv Morgan lose her King of the Ring match, or Queen of the Ring match, so that whoever wins could challenge her, so there's no fuss about the stipulation of the champion being challenged by the winner of the tournament? I don't know. I really don't know how you play this. It's going to be very interesting to see how WWE books this. And the other thing I'm looking forward to seeing how WWE books is this Oba Femi situation. Let's be honest. After Raw, Oba Femi wins his matchup. He defeats Dominic Mysterio. I think the general populace expected Brock Lesnar to come out and cost him the match and move Dominic into the finals. That would have been a lot easier to explain Dominic losing to Jey Uso or Dominic losing to Javon Evans or something like that. And instead, we are going to see Oba Femi in the finals. When he gets to the finals, what are you going to do? What is going to be the next thing that you do with him? I saw Ollie Davis on Wrestle Talk throw out the idea, and I have to say I don't hate it, that night one, Oba Femi could face Brock Lesnar in a career versus championship match, and he could retire Brock Lesnar in Minneapolis. and then follow that up on night 2 with his championship opportunity against Roman Reigns and win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship that night. I could see that happening. I really could. I have said before, and I'll say it again, I think the easier way to do it, rather than having Oba wrestle 2 matches and make him so strong that, let's be honest. If Oba goes out into a match and night 1 destroys Brock Lesnar, night 2 destroys Roman Reigns, who's ever going to beat him? Nobody. So I don't think you should do that. I really don't. I understand what Ali's going for, and Luke Owen said the same thing. I understand why they went there, but that is not where I would go. Where I would go would be, I would have Oba win. I would have Brock Lesnar interfere during a promo between he and Roman and make it a 3-way match. That way, somehow, you could protect Roman in the finish. Yes, you could still have Oba retire Brock Lesnar, but not beat Roman Reigns. And that's, I think, what's important, because I want to save Oba and Roman for WrestleMania if possible. I don't know. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think. Put it in the comments down below. If you have not already, make sure you click subscribe so you're notified every time we have a new episode go up. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks, as always, goes out to Suno for creating the music and sound effects we use in our show. If you want to check out the latest and greatest game from Beezle Games, go to thegamecrafter.com and pick up a copy of Sketchy People. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beezle Games, where you can craft your character, judge your friends and colleagues and friends. It is a ton of fun for the whole family. Check it out at thegamecrafter.com. Once again, that's Sketchy People. If you're looking for your next career move, maybe you're considering college, university life, or maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to my website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time with us today. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Wrestling Podcast.